Hey Brian, this is the very first game of yours that I am ever looking at, and the very first second of that very first game. Sometimes I watch games and before I cast them, but in this case, this is me seeing it for the very first time. Obviously, in TvP, the first thing you want to worry about is the what if he comes with like a 2-gate 3 zealots at like 4 minutes or something. So that's why you wall in, and it looks to me like you're planning to wall in, so that's the first thing, wall in by 4 minutes. The second thing you gotta worry about is the what if he comes with 1 stalker, 1 zealot at more like 4.5 minutes time, and that means usually having a marauder or having a bunker on the high ground or the bunker on the low ground. So either a bunker or a marauder by like 5 minutes will do quite well against that. Let's see if you did that. So Wallen, fine. Tech Lab, doing fine. Marauder and Stim, that's good. But if you were going to make Stim instead of concussive shells, then you're going to have trouble with an early double stalker harass where he chrono boosts out 2 stalkers and then 4 stalkers and comes with those stalkers. If you don't have concussive shells, and obviously Stim won't be finished by then he can do quite a bit of damage just by kiting around, so be careful of that. The next thing is at 6 minutes, it is possible for him to come with a very large army. From 6 minutes to 9 minutes, the job of the Terran is just to survive. So first, let's check your workers. 22. It's because you supply blocked yourself. If you had 24 workers, you would be in a much better position, but 22 is perfectly acceptable. I guess it depends on the next 2 games, how you're doing worker-wise. So right now, I would like to see a bunker either down on the low ground or up on the high ground. Because I've talked about this a lot. Terran, especially on 2 racks. Oh, another thing is you're going to need a 3rd building. You can have a very large army off of 2 racks. You can survive all the way to 6 minutes with a very good army capable of walking around the field and even maybe harassing your opponent. But once he finishes warp gate technology and warps in some units, your two buildings is not gonna cut it. So I would like to have seen this 3rd building show up a lot earlier. I don't particularly like a 3 racks, but if you're going to do 3 racks, you definitely need the 3rd racks a lot early, so your money's getting pretty high, especially your gas. Even with just 1 geyser, your gas is getting pretty high. And that's why a lot of people do double tech, single core, is because it gives them 2 tech labs to spend their gas on by getting upgrades. I'm glad you're getting this bunker now, but you would be dead right now if he came with a 6-minute 4 warp gate or a 7-minute void ray push. So this bunker is quite late. You want to get that done by 6 minutes, which means starting it by 5:20 or something. Your opponent is doing some terrible things, getting his money pretty high, so that's good. It's good. It's always good when your opponent doesn't do good things. At 8 minutes you need 30 workers, and you have them. Great! I'm glad you did a good job on your workers. Almost every single person who comes to me for help, the very first thing I see is that they're not making enough workers, and I tell them that, and you know, there you go. But you are the first guy to come and say, hey, I need help, and then I look at your game and you're not screwing up on workers. So that's good job. Way to solve a problem on your own before even coming to me. So now the 3 racks, what makes the 3 racks strong in TvP is the fact that Marines are way better than the units that Protoss can make. So, for example, if you had scouted that he was going for an Expo and some upgrades, and you took this army of yours and went and killed him, and especially if you brought a couple of SCVs with you, he would just die. So M&M, the 3 racks, gives you the biggest possible army for the easiest possible way. I've benchmarked a lot of builds out, and 3 racks, 2 tech, 1 core, off 1 base with 1 geyser, and cutting workers at about 26 will give you a very, very big army that hits every single one of the army spending benchmarks. So let's check if you were hitting all the benchmarks. At 6 minutes it's 1k. So you had 700 plus Stim is about 1k. You're 100 off, but that's no big deal. As long as you're close, it's good. Man. 7 minutes it's 1.5. Come on, 7 minutes. So at 7 minutes you had 1 plus stim is 1.3. Again, you're close, but no cigar, but perfectly fine. That's a big enough army. You did good. At 8 minutes, you're looking for 2,000. And now you're starting to fall a little bit behind. You've got another 100 here, so 300. And this is, again, because of your late third building, it's just impossible for you to spend the money you need to. So 400 bucks plus this is 1,700, almost 1,800. So again, you're short 200. You've been short 100 or 200 the whole time, and that's quite acceptable. That's good. This second bunker is a little weird because he can hit it from this side, and then he's only fighting this one bunker, and the whole second bunker is completely irrelevant. So I don't know. I don't know that you need bunkers like this. Next one is 9 minutes, and at 9 minutes we're looking for 2,500, and again, you are pretty much on. You're at 2,400 instead of 2,500, so that's great. So your execution of this build so far is perfect, and I have no advice on how to make it better. Other than that you need your bunker quicker, because even though this gives you a big army and a strong army and a good army against Toss, if you don't have a bunker when he comes with a $2,600 at 8 minutes, let's look at 8 minutes. So a Toss strong 8-minute attack will have 2,700, 2,600, 2,700, and at this point you had 1,400, and that's good. I mean, this is as big as Terran can make their army. You can't have a much bigger army than this, but imagine if he had a 2,600 army. That's double. That's 2 times as much money as you have spent on your army. So that's why the bunker is important. You had a bunker at 8 minutes, but he can hit you at 6 minutes with 1,200 as well. And if you have 700 against his 1,200 again, that's a double your army size. So if he hits you with $1,200 of units right now, Stim isn't done yet, so your effective total army size is 700, and you would just die. So things to be wary of. Toss is very strong from 6 minutes all the way to 9 minutes because of these attacks. They can have a 1,200 attack right here at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. They can have a $2,200 attack. Let's see what you had at 7 minutes. So if he came with a $2,200 Void Ray attack, you had 1,000, he'd have again more than double your army size and you would be dead. So there are a lot of good, really good Protoss attacks that use a proxy pylon and the warp in the X advantage to just make an army so big that if you don't have a bunker, you'll be dead. So really get this bunker done by 6 minutes or you will die to those builds sometimes. It looks like he didn't do any of those, so that's not relevant to this game, but it's very relevant to your play in general. You've got to be aware that Protoss will always have a bigger army than you if he's one base all-inning all the way up to 9 minutes. And then at 9 minutes you can be a lot less defensive because by then you should have your tech. Whatever tech you were going for, like Stim, it will be done. And stuff like that. Anyway, and the final benchmark I wanted to cover, I covered 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6, 7, 8, 9, and here's 10. At 10 minutes you can have up to 4,000, and you're very short of 4,000. You are, let's see, 500 bucks, 600, 700 bucks, and then your army. So you had 3,100. So you're 900 bucks short of the $4,000 that is possible. I say that 3,500 is the benchmark and 4,000 is the max possible. So you're close to the benchmark. You're close to what I expect people to have, which is 3,500. You're 400 bucks short. But you're way off of a one base all-in kind of $4,000 army thing, and that's because you didn't get your second geyser. So even though you did a great job producing these workers and you have 35 workers, only 22 of them can mine minerals. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that are just idle, not doing anything. And you got you're missing another guy there. So, and again, that's all fine. The one racks doesn't need a lot of gas, so it's okay to not get a lot of gas. But you got to recognize that from about I'd say 7 minutes until whenever this expo finishes, you're making SCVs that have no purpose. So if they can't mine anyway, I like to take them, put them on auto repair, and move them down here. Because, then if he attacks you, they can participate in the fight. I mean, they're not mining. It looks like they're mining, but they're not. I mean, if you watch this, there's guys constantly moving around saying, oh, what's going on? I'm not mining. So these